At Versus, we focus specifically on healthcare, where we know that every minute matters. Our RTLS is a real-time automated communication system that gives facilities the gift of time. More time to spend in patient care, more time to see more patients, more time to focus on the bottom line. We're going to show you today how you can automate, integrate, and analyze your operation, helping to reduce wait times, improve patient flow, enhance safety, improve hand hygiene, all while increasing patient satisfaction. My name is Jeannie, and today I'll play the part of a patient. Our nurse today doesn't need to play the part, she is one. This is Tina, one of several RNs on our clinical staff.
Thanks, Jeannie. I've been a registered nurse for over 30 years now, and for at least 30 of those years I've been directly involved in patient care in one way or another. So patient care truly is a priority for me. I know during that time I've spent a lot of it away from the patient, walking the halls, looking for physicians, looking for therapists, looking for patients themselves, answering phone calls, doing manual data entry. And that's one of the things that I really love about the Versus, is the fact that it gives back time to healthcare. And we're going to show you how as we move through today. One of the first things that we would do, once a patient is registered, we would take the patient badge, scan the back of the badge, there's a barcode here, and through an integration with the EMR, the patient is automatically assigned the badge. That will help drive our workflow. And I'm going to hand the badge to Jeannie and ask her to put it on. While she's doing that, I'm going to take a look at reserving a room for her. I can look at our board and I see that room 3105 is green, which means that it's clean and available. With a click of the mouse, I get a drop-down menu, I click on the room, and you can see that it just turned blue, and that notifies staff that the room is now reserved, and it also has her name assigned to it. Versus automatically updates bed and room status as patients move through the system.
We know that every minute a patient waits affects satisfaction, and the efficiency that Versus provides helps you to reduce those wait times. In fact, some of our clinic customers have even eliminated the waiting room altogether. Instead, patients room themselves, which is what we're going to do today. So as I walked into the room, the system noted my presence, and two things have happened. First, the room, now being blue and reserved, has turned to yellow, which means that it's occupied and in use. Behind the scenes, Versus sent an HL7 message to the EMR to assign this room to me so that nobody has to manually enter that data. Now, no matter where I'm waiting, there's no danger of me being forgotten. Whether I'm in the waiting room or in the patient room, Versus is calculating and displaying my time alone and my overall length of stay. If my wait time exceeds the facility's benchmark, Versus triggers an alert. Now watch what happens on the screen as our nurse enters the room.
As I enter the room, Versus automatically and accurately notes my presence, causing a couple of things to happen. First, you'll notice that I moved from the nurse's station into the patient's room, and the wait time alert was canceled. Through an integration with the patient engagement system, Versus noticed my presence in the room, displaying my credentials and my name on the patient TV screen.
If you've been on one of the tours of Nemours Children's Hospital here in Orlando that HIMSS was offering, you would have seen that integration there. It not only displays the caregiver's credentials, but it also keeps a log of who's been in the room. So if parents are away, they know who's been to see their child.
If Jeannie would have called me using one of our nurse call partners, the same thing. When I come into the room, the call is automatically canceled, allowing me to focus directly on patient care. And response times are noted also.
And you'll notice on the screen that my alone time has been set back to 0. Versus knows that I'm in the room with the caregiver.
If this were a real patient room, one of the first things I do when I enter the room is wash my hands. We know the importance of hand hygiene in healthcare today. And we also know that frequently healthcare facilities use silent observers to come in and monitor hand hygiene, often leading to biased, not completely accurate data. So, with the Safe Haven system featuring smart dispensers integrated with Versus technology, when I walk into the room wearing my Versus badge, it automatically picks up a hand hygiene opportunity. So, without any interruption to clinical workflow, I can wash my hands. I'm automatically recorded for participating in hand hygiene. I can go back and see my real-time status as far as participation rates. And it also, for historical purposes, records data that management can look at later to see who's doing a good job and where they might want to focus more education efforts.
Now let's talk about safety. Did you know that 55% of nurses report experiencing abuse on the job?
I've been the target of aggressive behavior before. Jeannie is a very pleasant patient today. But when you're on that end of aggression, every minute matters. Whether I'm being threatened by a patient, or maybe we just wanted to have it set up so that if I press the button, I can get assistance in the room. All I have to do with the Versus badge is press this button, and an alert is immediately sent to wireless phones, the nurse's station, and security. It shows who I am, where I'm calling from, so that they can immediately get to me, because when I need assistance, every minute matters.
Now that we've seen the hand hygiene and safety aspects of the system, let's get back to clinical workflow automation.
Looking at the board, I can see there's a blue cross in the lab section, and that's telling me through an integration with the laboratory system that Jeannie has blood work to be drawn, so I'm going to ask her to go to the lab.
And in our small demo area here, we're using the chair in the corner to signify the lab area. I'm going to go ahead and have a seat, and you'll see my location change on the floor plan view. Both of our wired and wireless systems are accurate down to this bed and chair level, using just a single focus sensor in each location. Using this method, our data is always accurate and never estimated. This is what allows us to automate clinical workflows and integrate with other systems. Our partners like Epic, Get Well Network, 4 Rivers, TempTrack, and others trust Versus to provide reliable and accurate location data.
In addition to location services, Jeannie's room is still yellow. That indicates to staff that even though she isn't presently in the room, she will be coming back to the room. If I take a look at the monitor, I can see that she's in the lab. Associated with her is the Christie Vein Viewer. So, through a system integration, we can actually use that information to automatically drive charge capture, increasing revenue. Looking at the monitor, automated clinical workflow, I can see the yellow arrow is indicating that Jeannie's labs are in process of being completed, so I know I should soon be getting some results.
So I'm going to return to my room and await the results. And using that integration that Tina mentioned with the laboratory system, we can also let caregivers know when orders are complete. A green checkbox has appeared in the laboratory column, and Versus will send a notification to my provider to let him know those orders are ready to be reviewed and that I'm ready to be seen.
This helps automate and optimize workflow for the physicians. They're no longer walking the halls looking for staff, calling, looking for results for their patients, or checking on patient status. So in this way, they get more time, they can fit more patients into their schedule during the day, thus increasing their profitability.
So my lab work looks good. I think I'm going to go home.
I'm going to ask Jeannie to hand me her badge, and as she hands me her badge, I'm going to put it into the Versus drop box. Watch what happens when I do this.
Versus knows my visit is done and I'm no longer displayed on the boards.
Versus also automatically turns the room red, sends a message that the room needs to be turned over, and when that happens, the room automatically will turn green. No manual data entry is needed.
And while Versus is providing all of this communication to improve patient flow in the moment, we're also collecting an enormous amount of data behind the scenes. Everything from my wait time, to how much time I was alone in my room, to how much time my caregivers spend with me, even how often this room was utilized. All of that is available to you in a very sophisticated reporting package. This allows you to analyze your operations based on automatically collected, unbiased metrics, helping you to improve processes and help make healthcare even more efficient.
So, thank you for watching. One last thing, we'd like to remind you that all of the features that you've seen today, hand hygiene monitoring, automated workflow, system integration, safety, these are a handful of the things that Versus customers are using today in real settings. Emergency departments, clinics, ambulatory surgical centers, hospitals, currently using these features. So while some people may look at this and think that this is a room of the future, actually for Versus customers, this is a patient room of today.